Hi, I'm Christina Greenberg. I am the search practice lead and one of the co-founders for Edgility Consulting. I know that we've submitted a proposal for your search for Compass Charter Schools, and we were asked to provide a little bit of a background about ourselves via video before we meet together in person tomorrow. So that's what this is. A few points about Edgility. I'm going to assume you've read our proposal, so I'm not going to read our proposal or talk about in depth what's in there because I'm sure you've reviewed it, and I'm sure whatever questions you have will come out tomorrow when we talk. But did want to give you a little bit of an overview of our firm and our search practice and what we value and what we focus on and why we might be a good partner. So one of the first things that I'll say is I know that our team on the equity consulting side has really enjoyed working with Compass on compensation and other projects. So I'm excited to potentially work with you as well on the search side. Edgility was created by my co-founder Allison and myself about 7 years ago. We each were doing our own consulting independently in the talent space. I did a lot of search work and recruiting work, as well as some more general talent consulting. Allison did mostly talent work, but did some search consulting as well. We decided to come together for a few really important reasons. One of them was that Allison was working with a larger firm at the time, and I was thinking about joining a larger firm because I wanted the idea of broader impact and to have thought partnership and to join with others doing this work. But the reason she and I created Edgility instead of going in-house or continuing in-house in one of those firms is we felt that the impact we wanted to have serving organizations that were making transformational change happen for communities, that impact would be more likely to happen if we created a new organization together versus going with an established organization that may or may not be set up well to provide that kind of support to clients. We also wanted to have a place where we could support our people, where it was innovative and creative, and we could try new ideas and new ways of doing things in the talent space that hadn't been done before. And we had a lot of really clear ideas on how we wanted that to happen. And that's how Edgility was born. So we started with a very skeletal team of just a few of us. We've now grown to have 40 people across the country. Our search team, there are 20 of us in communities everywhere from the Northeast, Southeast, West, South. So we cover the country. And we work with a large number of organizations. We'll do over 120 projects this year alone. Most of our clients, almost all of them actually, are nonprofit organizations. Many of them are in the education and youth development space or community collaborative organizations, community-based institutions, grassroots organizations, advocacy organizations, things like that. But many of our clients are charter school organizations like yours. A lot of them are in the education sphere in one way or another. And so we're very familiar with the needs and constraints that you face. As a side note, I've also been a board member of California Charter Schools for 12 years now. So I've lived in your seat quite a bit board-wise. And many of our clients, 5, 6 of our clients a year are, CEO ED searches that we're doing for California-based charter school organizations. I know each organization is different and unique, but it's definitely something we know well. Many of us, including myself, have a background in recruiting school leaders for charters and traditional districts. So it's very much in our sweet spot, and we're very excited to serve you in that way. A couple of other things that are important to know about Edgility. One is I like to say we focus on the D, the E, and the I in DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. We would do our best to find you a very highly talented, diverse candidate pool, and we're very successful at that. Almost 80% of our placements, both in the last year and over the last 3 years, have been candidates who identify as leaders of color. 47% have been folks that identify as women of color, and 65% have been non-male. So we're very proud of our ability to bring new people to the fore, new candidates, new kinds of individuals who are highly talented and often represent the communities they're serving and also have new perspectives to give to their organizations. We also care about equity in our searches. We create a very transparent search process. We ensure that every candidate knows exactly what the steps are going to be, that everyone goes through the same steps, whether they're internal or external candidates, whether they know someone or don't know someone coming in. We ensure that it's a very clear and transparent process, and it's competency-based, it's evidence-based, and it enables candidates to shine and to equally showcase their skills, which we feel is really important. And as a result, we build really strong relationships with candidates, and they trust us because they know it's going to be a fair and thoughtful process, that their needs will be cared for as well as clients' needs will be cared for. And that's part of how we're able to bring such strong candidate pools to bear, because candidates know and trust us and often come back to us again and again, either for new roles when they're looking in a few years from now for a new position, or if they haven't found a role in their first couple of searches, they'll often continue working with us until we place them in a new position. We also care deeply about inclusion, and that's particularly important for our school clients. I know, having been a part of schools, being married to a charter school founder, having worked in and around schools for so many years, schools are unique organisms. And as a parent myself, I care deeply about the folks that are working with and caring for my children every day. And we know that that's true for every parent and every school organization. And it's true for staff members that are putting their blood, sweat, and tears and time on the line, particularly in this era of pandemic. I don't know if we're post-pandemic, mid-pandemic. Putting their time and energy on the line to really care for children and ensure that they're getting what they need educationally, social, emotionally. And it's also true for leaders too. And so we want to really create an inclusive process. We are clear, the board makes a decision. It's the most important decision you're going to make as board members. We want to make sure that that's very clear to all audiences, but we also want to ensure that there's opportunities for input and feedback as appropriate, particularly when you have a leader like JJ that folks know and have interacted with for a number of years. We want to make sure that they have time on the front end to tell us about their concerns and needs and what they're looking for in a leader, and on the back end to engage with finalist candidates so that they can provide feedback to the board in making your decision. So each of those elements, the diversity, the equity, and the inclusion, are really important to us in our process. I'm not going to regurgitate our whole search process. It's in the deck, but just to give you some highlights, we do a really thoughtful discovery process to get to that inclusion, like I just spoke about, and also to help people express their needs and concerns so we can hear them, and to really understand the kind of person this individual needs to be successful as your next leader. As a part of that, we do surveys, focus groups, and individual conversations, and we could talk about them more when we meet tomorrow if you have questions. Once the discovery process is complete and we've got a job description together that we put out to market, then we spend a couple of months recruiting candidates, doing outreach, through networks, through LinkedIn, through social media, through people we already know, through nominators and contacts, to build you the strongest pool possible. Our team will have initial conversations with those individuals. They'll do a brief video interview input as their first interview stage, and then a deeper phone interview to dive into their competencies and skills more thoroughly. And then once those steps are done, we'll have a set of individuals for the board search committee to meet with, usually 4 to 6 people that we've identified as the strongest potential candidates. Once you've met with those individuals, then typically that committee will decide on a couple of finalists, and those folks will be able to engage more broadly with a group of stakeholders, with often families, with staff members, potentially with donors, other board members. So we'll talk about that process in more depth when we meet, but suffice it to say that that's the finalist round. And then our team will support you with offers, all the details that you need to get this person signed up. We also are very familiar with Brown Act and Nonprofit Integrity Act regulations in California. So happy to help ensure that your board is Brown Act compliant all the way through. And at the final offer stage, we know kind of the steps we need to do and the things that we need to do to ensure that we're compliant with all the regs as well. So that's the intro I'm going to give you. The final thing I would say is just that we love working with organizations like yours. We're excited to engage with you. Looking forward to the conversation. And we'll hear from you what other questions you have tomorrow. Take care. Thanks. Bye.